Okay, hi to everyone watching. This is my week one presentation about my project I'll be working on for the following semester. I like to call it the Nut Dropper. It's a work in progress, but hopefully it comes to a real product that I can uh, show by the end of the semester. Now, the goal of this project is to basically speed up the process of placing pecans onto a baking sheet. Right now, the process is done by hand, and it's not the quickest task. It was estimated to take around 30 to 45 seconds per sheet, and we're trying to reduce that somewhere around 10 to 15 seconds, maybe even less if we're lucky. Now, some of the tools and skills I'll be using for the following project will be Autodesk Sketchbook and SolidWorks. Autodesk Sketchbook I use for doing sketches and quick drawings to get some ideas down, and to have a few pictures as reference for when I bring it over to SolidWorks where I'll 3D model it. In SolidWorks, I can check dimensions and if parts move and rotate properly and make sure that there's no obstructions for parts that need to go somewhere. SolidWorks is also neat because I can take those files that I made and then convert them into a file where I can throw it onto the 3D printer and make a physical prototype where I can do more testing with. Now, I currently prototype with cardboard and plastic, and in these three images on the left we have the funnel where the nuts will currently go down. The middle image is one of the droppers that I printed out using my printer, and then to test a different kind of funnel, I used cardboard. I didn't want to spend a couple hours designing it in CAD and then printing it, so just to get a rough idea down, I cut open a box and started gluing that together. And then the final image is the printer I use. It does what it needs to do in a good amount of time, but hopefully I can use a better tool when I design a final product. Right now I just use the 3D printer for prototypes, and I don't believe that this material will be food safe. And the end goal is to hopefully use something like metal fabrication where it can be food safe and much more durable than just plastic. My current design is currently in SolidWorks, so let's open that. And right here we have the droppers, which there are four of. I'm designing it in modules, so I only have to design one part and then I can duplicate it multiple times to get the final product. This allows me to develop much quicker because I don't have to design one big machine. I can just do it in small parts, and then if I get all the problems out, I can just duplicate it and then they'll all be problem free, hopefully. So we have the gates right here, which open and close to drop the nuts. This space is currently designed to be large enough for exactly two nuts because that's the goal. The nuts will come down out of this funnel. Let's close this. So the nuts will go into this funnel, down, and be serialized. So they'll be lined up and ready to go. And then the physical dimensions of the nut will be the right size to block other nuts from coming in. So only two nuts go in, and then we'll restrict the third nut from going down until the other two have left it, and then the gate has then closed. Now with the current designs I have, there are already quite a few problems which I've discovered by just playing around with the physical prints that I made, like the funnel here and the gate where you can see it opens up like that. One of the problems is with the funnel. When messing around with it, I discovered that this hole right here isn't big enough for the nuts to go in when they're laying horizontal. That's my bad. I didn't properly measure the nuts, but going into the future, I'll have a funnel hole that starts much wider than the actual nut and then gradually makes its way down to the shortest side of the nut so they can be serialized and one nut will come out at a time. Now another problem I have is with this dropper and especially the gate. Right now the gate is controlled by my hand, but eventually the plan was to have a slider that would rock this open and connect to all of them. Right here we have a little channel. The original device that I planned on using was a pneumatic piston to actuate that open and closed, but if we go back to the CAD, when this is down all the way, we'd have to support the other end of the shaft somewhere over here. And that linkage would just be hard to develop, and I don't really have the skills yet, maybe in the future. Moving forward, we'll have a, let's open up Paint real quick. This will just be a very large sheet around 12 inches long that has holes in it. And the piston, I know it's a paint drawing, but just deal with me right now. I had this on paper, but I don't know where that paper went. This piston will actuate back and forth, driving this sheet and allowing the nuts that would be placed here along the droppers to then fall through the holes once this device slides this way, allowing the nuts to go down through the holes. And then the piston will actuate back and then it'll block the nuts from coming back through. I need to throw this in CAD real quick and get some prints going, but I think this design would be better because it's less moving parts, and once it's in sheet metal, hopefully it'll be much stronger than tiny hinges like these. Now, moving forwards, these presentations will be updates on how this project is going and the problems I have while developing this machine, and hopefully by the end, a final presentation on my troubles and triumphs when this machine will hopefully be up and running. I plan on doing these once a week, and if there's any feedback, I would love to hear it in the comments. I plan on posting this on YouTube. So, thank you, and I'll hopefully see you next week.